Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new. It's inherited. A ring from a grandmother, a necklace full of memories, but no longer your style. Duke's Jewelers reimagines family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Working one-on-one, Duke's designers honor the original story while creating something fresh and modern. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com, where old stories become new treasures.
Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends.
Nice.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Scott Gerard, Sly Sylvester. Got a little Corey Hart. I wear my sunglasses at night.
Man, Lloyd, you know your boy.
So I can.
It's a feeling. Like Lloyd said he'd be pumping weights. I can picture Lloyd just going around the weight room and everybody's lifting and Lloyd's just leading the attack listening to this.
Well, Corey Hart, absolutely.
Just doing overhead, shoulder, head push.
I will max out on this, absolutely.
Oh, man. Sly's in the house wearing the shades, and
yes, sir.
We're talking Utes. How are you, man?
Rain, snow, sleet, sunshine. Gotta wear your sunglasses.
Oh, man. Well, look, we need to cool up this show a little bit, and nobody's cooler than this guy, Sly Sylvester.
My man. No, man, you did the tourney, man. I'm jealous. I as much as I love basketball was my first love growing up. And March Madness is always the best time.
Oh, so good.
Best time, man. So I know you enjoyed it.
I love it. I absolutely, and I was telling you during the break, like, we get to do a lot of really cool things. Like, you're, with the Utes, and you're at crazy cool venues and all over the place. But sometimes you kind of get callous to it a little bit. You just like, okay, this is my job, and you don't really appreciate how cool it is. But NCAA tournament, never that way with me.
Hands down. It's something new every year. Cinderella stories, I think, is what beats in all our hearts as sports fans, man. And so anytime you can have that, because I think upsets, it never becomes more apparent than the March Madness tournament. Right? Then the NCAA tournament is when it can actually happen. The 16 can beat that one. It has that opportunity. In football and all the other sports, you don't really see it as much, but like you're waiting for that moment, that historic moment. Oh, this team's up by 20 and they blew a 20-point lead and lost by 1. Like at the end, like that is what is true fandom and what I really appreciate about it, man. So this past month was just surreal with basketball.
All right. What's your emotions when you found out, or when you watched that ending of that Duke game, though?
Oh my gosh, I was frustrated and pissed off, but I also, because my bracket ended up being UConn and Duke in that position to go to Final Four, and it did take me a while, right? Because UConn, of course, they won it last year. You know their strength. Dan Hurley's a goon. You saw the way he acted after that shot. I absolutely love that. So it was hard to bet against them, but I'm just like, man, Duke is stacked. I got them going all the way, and then I wasn't surprised, but I'm like, dang it, you messed my bracket up. But at the same time, it's like that. I loved it for the fact that was good basketball.
That shot will be replayed 30, 50, 70 years from now.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down. I've on social media just watching the reaction from UConn fans watching it and just normal people just in the bars just watching that game and their reaction. You can never get sick of that. As you said, callous to some things, you'll never get sick of that feeling.
And that kid can leave UConn, and they should hire him in the athletic department.
Oh.
And his only job, they pay him $300,000 a year. His only job is to go golfing with boosters and talk about that game.
Talk about that game.
That's all you need to do.
Being in that position and making that shot and what he felt after. Oh yeah, that is going to be his legend.
It's
going to be his legend story.
So good. Hey, let me ask you this. You talk about, and we'll get to the Utes, but you talk about Dan Hurley. We on the outside that didn't play at that level, sometimes we see that antics and we see the yelling and the screaming like, what a jackass. Like, I can't imagine playing for a guy like that. But I think players love playing for guys like that.
You tell me a player that didn't like that. and I'll show you a liar. Because Dan Hurley, it shows how invested he was. Right, there's a lot of guys. You get the Gino Ariemmas and some of these other coaches that Bill Belichick's who don't really show that much emotion, and like you're like, are you actually into? Do you actually like this? And then you get guys like him and Sean McVay and guys who are extremely animated, and you love that, man. And because I think in sports, what you want to say is that person next to you, or that person that you're riding with, or that person that you're entrusting in the success of what you're doing has the same mentality as you, right? And so it's just like, do your job. His job is to get the guys ready. And if you're not invested, I don't want to be next to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of it, man. So as a player, knowing your coach is that invested and cares that much, whether we hit the shot or him hit the shot or whatever it is, and everybody's in it. I mean, he saw his parents. His parents were like, shut up, we did it. And so, like, just to show the level of investment at all levels is something that I'm always going to be riding with.
How about a coach, and I don't know if you saw the clip, and I don't even know her name, and I don't even know who she coaches for, but she was yelling at her player and putting her finger right in her chest and goes, I effing believe in you, blah, blah, blah,
and for me in that moment, I can see how other people would take that, but honestly, that was an interpersonal relationship.
Yeah.
That was something the coach knew about that player, and the player knew about that coach, because what people didn't take from that was how attentive the player was, right? And then, of course, the press conference. We heard the press conference and her talk about, I believe it was Notre Dame. I'm not sure. But I know exact moment you're talking about. She's like, that's how I want to be coached. I asked to be coached like that. Right. And then, of course, the lip and readers. And when you actually find out exactly what he said, that's great stuff.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
And, what I've heard from great coaches like Mike Tomlin, Coach Whittingham, all these coaches that I've been a part of is not everybody's the same. You can't coach everybody the same way. Some people need a little bit more motivation. Some people need a little bit more kick in the butt. Right, you gotta get stern with those players. And I know, like my defensive coach that got me hooked up with Utah in high school. The way he used to talk to us, you would think he hated us. But, like, you're just like, no, he just understood how to bring the best out of us. Whether it's you're pissed off at me or you got to find that other motivation, whatever it is to get the best out of you, that's what coaches do. And you've seen how the player played after that encounter. Right,
yep,
she went off for like 20 in the second half, and so that was that's just, for me. I was like, that was that moment for them, because the player didn't feel disrespected. The player went back to the bench, got herself together, and went back into the basketball game. And so that was an interpersonal moment is what I took from even my first impressions of seeing it.
I know there's a lot of us out there that we want to well, I mean, look, say what you want about our current society, but people want to be upset or offended by lots of things.
Everything.
Guess what? That's not our business. Like, we can't project what's going on between a player and a coach, because we haven't been to the practices, we haven't been to the OTAs, we haven't been to the
rest of the season,
the camps. Like, we don't know their relationship, so we can't project and say, "Oh, what a horrible human being that is." We don't know.
Well, it's to that point too. Is like the way I want to be coached or can be coached, I can't project the way that person wants to be coached. Right? Yeah. I'm different than everybody else, and understanding that everybody has their individuality in sports, in life, and whatever it is very important for everybody to understand when looking at stuff.
All right, spring ball for the Utes. Do you anticipate a lot of verbiage and language change in that offense from Kevin McGivern? I know that he's going to want to put his own stamp on it, but you probably don't want Devin Dampier to have to learn an entirely new system. Doesn't Kevin McGivern need to adapt more than Devin Dampier does?
I think there's give and take on both sides. Right. I've been up to spring practice a couple times here, and I love it. There's actually a lot of similarities to last season, and so that's good. Looking at how the players are reacting to everything, I don't know the language and verbiage that happens, but as I want to say this because it's like, look, these guys are professionals now. Players, college players, you're an adult, you can handle it. This happens all the time. New offensive coordinator comes in, new coach, new player. Everybody's got to learn some type of way. Yes, you want to make it a smooth transition, but they have time. They've been working at this since they got here. And and I know Morgan Scalley, he is a no excuse type person. So it doesn't care if Kevin McGivern's bringing in the West Coast offense or some new type of offense or whatever it is. You're going to learn it. You got time to do it, and there's no excuses. You are a professional. You're getting paid for all of these things now, unlike before. And so you got to do what it takes to be ready to go by September 1st or whenever that first game is. And so for me, there's no excuses with that, but I do not see a huge jump in terminology understanding. And I think I saw this video this past weekend. No, it was more of them talking about Gen Zers versus millennials, right? It's like their terms that they're using now. Don't get mad at it. Just understand what word you would use that is. Like Riz was our swag back in the day. And that's how I did it when I went to the Steelers, right? Their quarters coverage was different from our quarters coverage, or their seam coverage in Pittsburgh was our dog coverage in Utah. And so that's professionalism. You got to make that adjustment. Steelers ain't changing for me.
Yeah.
Right. And that's exactly what's happening here. And I don't think there's going to be a lot. I think there's a good personal relationship that needs to happen that's more important than the verbiage. The verbiage is all on Devin Dampier and Burt Franklin to be able to grasp and take advantage of in their own time. But the most important thing is understanding exactly what Coach McGivern is doing when he's making certain calls. Right. When he's calling this on 3rd and 1, what is he seeing? And that's got to be that unspoken language that you know about Kevin McGivern and that Kevin McGivern knows about you and why he's calling. That is what I think is most important that needs to be had here in the offseason.
I'm not a gambling man, but if I were, I would have never in a million years thought that put money on both Burt Franklin and Devin Dampier coming back with Kyle Whittingham going to Michigan. And Jason Beck going to Michigan. I just didn't anticipate that those two would stay at the University of Utah. Do you anticipate any kind of a role change for Burt Franklin, more usage than maybe last year? How do you see his role developing, or is it pretty much what we saw last year?
Well, I mean, in an ever-changing world, you got to be surprised every day. That's why everybody should close their phones and not look up anything today. Because today it'll shock you and what it is. But, honestly, what that decision was kind of what I feel sports is, right? It's like it's not always greener on the other side. And I think there's been a lot of stories where players have done that and it hasn't worked out. Devin Dampier going into his senior year, I don't want to do that again. I understood what it took to go from New Mexico to here. I would have to do that in a whole new place. I know this here. These fans know me here. There's a lot of semblance there. And then Bird as well. It's just like, okay, I think when you interview Bird, he is extremely mature. Right? I absolutely love talking to him, and what he talks about are things. And so I feel like he's thought about this really intently as far as like, okay, I'm going in my sophomore year. Yeah, I haven't redshirted. Yeah, all these other stuff. But like, can I learn more? Right? And what can I get from 1 year of football? Right? If I stayed in this one program with this one coach and own this, can I do it? Right? And how much fun did I have last year, right? All of those things I think came into bout with Bird and understanding that, hey, I was a true freshman. Am I truly ready to go lead another D1 university and, kind of have the success that Nico Iamaleava had at UCLA by switching out? Do I want to go through all of that? Like, there's a lot of things that probably went on the table with all that. And here I can just share, the pressure. People love me here. I had a good time and I was utilized a lot at the end of the season. Now let's see what it is during the season. Devin and I work well together. And so I personally, I think that he just took some time and understood exactly what it's going to be like out there versus what it's going to be like here. And Utah made it work as far as the dollars made sense. And so it's just like, look, let me stay here, make it happen. And I do think, the second part of your question is his role is going to increase. Right. And now, because it wasn't until later in the season or halfway through the season where we found out, like, we can do this quarterback system, right? He is a threat, and it's awesome. It's like, oh, dang, we should have put him in against Texas Tech. There's just a lot of things, and so I think this university and Morgan Scalley has done a great job with instilling the belief into Bird that he has a place here. Like, look, we're going to utilize you. We want your talents on the field. And I think this is the biggest issue that is going to go on with Utah from me being at practice the last couple of weeks. They got a lot of stars on this team.
Yeah.
I mean, playmakers, not stars. They got a lot of playmakers. And it's going to be like, how do I share the love around? We saw a lot of playmakers come to fruition at the end of the season with Creed Whittemore and Larry Simmons and all these guys. Now you got big body Brandon Pagan, right? And you know him from Utah State.
Oh, yeah.
And he looked great at practice.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, he's a nice size receiver. And you got a lot of talent here, and Wayshawn Parker's in the backfield. I talked to him at practice, and he's looking and feeling great about the offense. And so it's all about, one, the belief in the program, what's going on, and then how well you feel, man. And so both Devin and Bird, they look great, and they're enjoying it, and I think they're going about it like brothers. I remember there was a couple people who saw one of their TikToks or whatever, like, who's who? Right? And so like and those guys are really tight, and I think that is what's making all the difference, is those guys leading the charge.
So this isn't a question about Jordan Gross. I have faith in Jordan Gross, especially with Alex Gerke there to help him out. So I'm not worried about the coaching, but anytime you lose 2 tackles to the first round of the NFL draft, you're going to go backwards a little bit. It's just going to happen when you have that high level of a talent, and that's not even counting the other guys in the interior. So what are your realistic expectations or realistic concerns that you have for the offensive line coming into next year, just based on talent loss?
Yeah, that was my biggest thing of what I wanted to watch at practice, is that, because the entire O-line is gone. I think that was our strongest unit last year, and they did a terrific job because, one, they took the pressure from the offseason of being the strongest unit and really implemented it into the year and still did great. Right. And so Jordan Gross coming in, new coach, new offensive line, new all that. It's going to be extremely difficult. But one of the days that I went up to practice was the teaching day. So it was a little slower and a little bit, a bit more of talking as far as is going through practice. I'm like, what's going on today? It feels kind of slow. And everyone's like, it's the teaching day. I'm like, oh, I get it. I'll ask no more questions. And so but seeing Jordan Gross take that moment and still in those players right now, from Salatoa Moiai and Zeraway Williams, and getting that relationship built and understanding where we want to go, where we want to be, how fast we want to be on this offense, and where we want to go. And I think that one thing you heard from a lot of the guys last year is our second unit is very good, right? They can go starting on a lot of different offensive lines. So it just takes another year of experience, and these guys are stepping up to the plate. So I don't see that we're going to have a big issue. I don't think our line's going to be as dominant as last year was, because there was a lot of experience and star power on that offensive line. But I think our offensive line is going to be very good this year.
Can I steal you for a little bit longer? Just talk defense?
Of course.
All right, let's do it. That's what you were here anyways, to talk defense. We can't not talk defense. All right, take a quick break. Come back. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. That's Sly Sylvester as we get you ready for the University of Utah football season.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends.
Nice.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. By the way, check out the YouTube channel. All you have to do is go to YouTube and search KSL Sports, and you will see, you'll see me, but don't worry about that, okay? It's all about Sly. So you see Sly Sylvester rocking the Utah Man gear.
And the glasses. I'm the guy in
and
the
glasses. Go to utahman.co, C-O, and let's check it out.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it done.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, man, I'm the sweaters, the hoodies, everything. I'm loving it. It's my whole wardrobe anyway.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, I'm walking around. I'm walking billboard most of the time.
I love it. Good. I love it. All right, so let's talk defense. You do lose some key players off that defense, but if there's one thing we know about the University of Utah is that they're going to find a way to lock it down.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to find a way to get things going the way they need to. Where are you at on the defense with what you've seen in spring, and how ready should they be come September?
The defense is the defense. It's what's great is that system is in there. I think that has had the least amount of change as far as the structure goes. I know our linebackers, as far as Lander Barton's gone, Logan Fano, Levani Damuni, those guys are kind of gone. But I think the core is there as far as the confidence, man. Trey Reynolds, man, I absolutely love it. He took my number. So he's number 10 now. So I see 10 at linebacker again. I absolutely love it. Him and John Hall are doing a great job, man. They are leading the charge as far as communication goes. And as a former linebacker, that's all you really want to ask for is those guys being the leaders, right, and making sure that you're the most respected unit on that defense. And so you got guys like Lander Barton, Levani Damuni who leave, and you got guys like Trey Reynolds who's going to step up, who's been making plays the last couple of years. Like it's just normal work for him, man. So absolutely love that, and he's a boss. Absolutely love that. Lance Holtzclaw, man, he came on at the end of last season. Right, and he looks everything, but it looks like he put on about 5 to 10 more pounds of muscle, and he's explosive, and so they're really, really working on him. Luther Ellis doing his thing, man. So I'm really excited to see. Got to see what that D line looks like. I know we gave up a lot of rushing yards, a lot of passing yards at the end of the last season in that Baylor game, that Kansas State game. So I think there's a lot this defense has to come back from the end of last season, right? Even in the Kansas game, we didn't look great. And so that was kind of a sour point within the season, but, still ending 10-2. Defense looked good latter parts of the bowl game in that Nebraska game, so that was good. But those last 3 games of the regular season were atrocious, man. And there's a lot of other stuff going on that we weren't privy to, so we don't know that. But I think that this defense has a lot to make up for with giving up so many rushing yards to Kansas State and so many passing yards to Baylor. But we got some stars at all level, right? I labeled Trey Reynolds, Jonah Hall, and Lance Holtzclaw, but I think the biggest star on this defense got to be Jackson Benny, right?
Oh, yeah,
It's Olympus, right? He's from Olympus High School. That guy is awesome. He does everything, and another year of experience. The mistakes that I saw him make last year are just – it's more experience things, just knowing what you can and can't do. And so I think he understands that. He'll take that role. We don't have Smith Snowden in these roles anymore, so he's the guy who's going to be ultra versatile with coming down from the safety position up top and rolling down to the nickel, just being all in the mix from blitzing to coverage to everything you saw as a playmaking ability last year. Jackson Benny's going to be that guy. So really love that. And this defense, they look solid, man. And, of course, there's only so much you can take from spring.
Yeah.
Right? But training camp is where it really all is, and so more eager to learn from that. But I say all these things because there's good promise. There's a lot of potential with everything on the defense and the offensive side of the ball for Utah.
So if I'm Morgan Scalley and I'm used to calling the defense, but now I'm the head coach, and there are head coaches out there that will still call a defense, is it hard not to micromanage for him? I got to imagine there's got to be a little bit like, I would have done this instead, or I don't know if I would have brought that corner blitz on 3rd and long. Like how hard is that for a coach to kind of separate themselves from that?
No, it's not at all, and it shouldn't be hard. It's called professionalism, right? And so I think Morgan is extremely professional, and that specific thing that you're talking about, I was watching in the bowl game.
Yeah,
I'm like, are you letting Colton Swan do this thing or what? If Colton Swan needed advice or whatever, he's reaching out to you. But they had a seamless type of relationship in that bowl game, and that is what's going to project here. Now you got a whole offseason to kind of work stuff and get. And so I thought that bowl game was great to get that experience as far as coach and defensive coordinator, and I think they're going to be great. And so here's my thing. When I was with the Steelers, right, and we were both 12-4 my first 2 seasons, really good, top 2 and next to Tom Brady's stupid self in the AFC. And then my 3rd year we took a dip, right? We let go of some veterans and other things, but we ended up going We never had a losing season, of course.
No.
So it was maybe like 10-6, something like that. But it wasn't as good as the years before. And what I saw the difference was Mike Tomlin would try to do everybody else's job. He would try to do the defensive coordinator's job, the linebacker coach's job, and he wouldn't leave time for those guys to do their job. And that created dysfunction. And so professionalism-wise is like, let everybody do their job. They are hired for a certain type of reason. And I think Morgan understands that. He wants to do as much prep work before that game as possible, right? I think Morgan believes in when you're on that field, a lot of things can happen, right? That wasn't what we practiced. So make it up, right? But me trying to interject, we've done all of the prep work before getting in here. Go out there and make it happen. And I don't think Morgan is going to be one of those guys to overstep. I think Morgan is more on the tip of, I want to be prepared.
Yeah.
I'm going to be more anxious, or not anxious, but more detailed on the preparation and then the actual game, right? I'm going to let you go out there and execute. And that's what good coaches do, right? We prepare you so you can go out and execute. Same thing a head coach has to do with a position coach or a unit coach, right? Is I prepare you, making sure we're prepared. I'm asking all the questions before the game. So once we get into those situations and those scenarios, you know what I'm thinking and I know what you're thinking, and we can ride from there. Right. And so I don't think there'll be an issue at all, mainly because I've seen that relationship in the bowl game and it looks seamless.
I think it's if there's a guy that I would never worry about being a micromanager, it would be Morgan Scalley.
I don't know, man. Everybody surprises you now and then.
That's true. That's
so
true.
I take people for what it is for when the situation calls for it. But in this situation in particularly, I think Morgan, I think we heard it in Sharif Shaw's press conference where he's talking about Morgan's been preparing for this moment forever.
Yeah.
And I just think that Morgan is ready. And so, of course, you know, Coach Whittingham is the greatest coach that's came through the University of Utah. Hate to see him go, but I just can't see another person who would be able to take the mantle instead of Morgan Scalley. No. I think he's ready for this moment. He's prepared in all the different phases, from being that overbearing coach and knowing exactly who he wants in what position. This is just something that somebody has been thinking about for a long time, and now it's just ready to execute.
So when a linebacker takes on number 10, do you sit them down personally and say, look, these are the expectations. If you're going to play linebacker at Utah, there's these expectations. If you're going to wear number 10 as a linebacker at University of Utah, those expectations go a little higher.
Oh, no. I need to make him a Utah man athlete, right? You know,
yeah.
We got all these Jordan athletes and LeBron athletes. I need to have a Utah man athlete. No, I don't do that at all, man. I hope that, you know, the understanding has been passed down. And that's what I do know. I do know that, because even today people talk about the linebacker unit when I was there.
Yeah.
And I was there a long time ago. But, like, I think that is being fulfilled every single time. I think that they have tangible things in the linebacker room to make people understand what's going on. That's nothing that I have to do, and I would never overstep. I'm not a coach.
I know.
That's not what I do. But I think that everybody understands that the linebacker room at the University of Utah has such strong history that they want to be a part of it and not mess that up.
So I think this is super fascinating because I look at what you've developed there at the University of Utah and the legacy of that linebacker room. And then you look across the board and what, you know, Morgan Scalley and Weddle and Tate did on the safety side. And obviously the defensive line has always been stacked as well. There was I was listening to an interview last year in training camp with the Broncos. George Payton's the GM out there, and they were making their final cuts, and Carini Reed was the last one to make the cut on the roster, and he was nip and tuck with some other guy, and they asked him why he went with Reed over this other guy. He's like, well, you know what? We've had the University of Utah players have treated us really well here. And we trust their system, and we like what they've developed there. And so essentially he said the deciding factor for going with Reed over another player was the fact that he had that Utah legacy and that Utah knowledge and background behind him. What is it about the Utah defense? Is it just schematically that gets you ready for the NFL, maybe more than other universities? Or what is it about Utah that allows a lot of you guys to go to the next level and be successful?
Man, all that story tells me, it's a great story. I didn't hear that, and that is one the epitome of Corinne Reed. I think that he is just a hard worker, extremely savvy guy, and a guy that can contribute on a lot of teams, which we did see. We saw him contribute a lot on Denver's great team.
Yes.
This year, but that just reminded me of my first year in Pittsburgh. And we were in the spring, right? We're doing OTAs and going to mini camps, and we had James Ferrier, James Harrison, all they did is, and we're literally unloading the playbook, and our linebacker coach Keith Butler goes. He asked me questions about what defense Diamond Way, we Cobra White, and like all this. And James Ferrier goes, man, he don't know that. He's just a rookie. He don't know nothing. And I literally am like, no, it's XYZ. And he's like, well, damn. Maybe he does know what he's talking about. And for me, it was just, there was so much. I was just like, the transition from Utah to Pittsburgh, even though it was a 3-4 system, a very complicated system in the NFL, there was so many similarities. As I told you when we first started, it was just like, okay, the dog format that we used in Utah was seam in Pittsburgh, and that's all the shift that I had to do, and I understood the defense and where I needed to be. That's the exact same with a lot of defenses, because the technique and the rules are all the same when you go to the NFL. And then, of course, the mentality and how you play, the red line mentality that Coach Scally implements and we have at Utah, those are all things that apply to the NFL. So the culture that we have at Utah, and now BYU, Kalani's down there, I know he's throwing that. All of those things, those mentalities translate to NFL well better than any other college. And that would be my recruiting tip too. It's just like these things translate, right? It doesn't matter if you're an undrafted free agent or first-round draft pick, Devin Lloyd or Corinne Reed. You're understanding the same things, and the NFL guys understand that, know that, and that's what you're buying into. You're buying into that legacy here at Utah that's going to help your resume when you go to the next level.
I mean, I say all the time, if there's certain coaches that show up, and based on their history and their tradition, if my kid is playing that position, I'm sending them to them. Like if Sharif Shah comes to my house and tells my kid, hey, look,
he'll say anything.
Right, I know that's the other thing. I'm never saying no to Sharif. Like Sharif could sell, ice to an Eskimo and he'd get it done. But if Morgan Scally comes in, like, look, your son's a safety, and if he stays on the trajectory he's at, I can put him in the NFL. I'm like, go
done.
Yeah, you have to
history.
go.
Here's the guys.
Yeah.
Here's what they're doing. These are their contracts. Jalen Johnson in the NFL. Marcus Williams in the NFL. There's Cole Bishop's now in the NFL. You have actual tangible people to say, like, look, this is the system that they were in. This is the situation that they got in. This is what your son could be.
End of story.
End of story.
Sly, you're the best, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for having me.
There he is, Sly Sylvester. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Breaking down the teams you're passionate about. This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right. This is not an April Fool's Day joke. This is not a me trying to stir up angry listeners at all. Is it wrong for me to say I have never been a U2 fan? Like, is that a really like? I know everybody there's so many people out there that say, "Oh, I love U2," but really all they own is the Joshua Tree. It's like, are you really? Come on. And U2, I kind of lost it on them when
honestly, I have like one song that I absolutely hate. Like, there's just one.
Well, I hate the fact that they broke. Sorry, go ahead.
No, for the most part, I actually don't mind U2. There's just, like I said, there's just one song that I really do not like.
What's that song?
Where the Streets Have No Name. I'm just not a fan of that song. I don't know why. Just don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, it just, Yeah, and when you start shows with it too, it just it's got a weird vibe to it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right.
It doesn't.
No, it just doesn't feel right.
But I don't know. Again, I understand that everybody seems to love U2, and they're all about U2, which is great. Hey, you do you. I've never been a U2 guy. And then
I like them.
And then when they hijacked everybody's iPhone, what was that, 10 years ago?
Oh yeah.
And that album
that album, and it was the worst.
That album's like, wrestling a dude in Boise. Like, it never goes away. Like, you get a new phone, and that stupid album's still there.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I delete that damn album?
You can't delete it, and it was the worst. The album was terrible.
I never listened to it, but man, it'll still pop up on.
I did because I thought I'd give it a try. I'd give it a try. I was like, you know what? I don't mind U2. Let's go. Let's see it. And no, it is. You're right. That and it won't go away. You can't delete it. It's undeletable.
I mean, every time I go in there, I'll delete it, move it to the old trash bin. It says it's gone, and then boom, you get a new iPhone. It's back. It's like, gosh.
It's like wrestling a guy in Boise. Oh man, those were the days.
We saw our guy yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Stopped by Tim Daly Mazda.
Oh, how's he doing?
He's good. He's good. He's happy. Amanda was with him.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, he's definitely happy if that's the case.
Well,
if Amanda's with him. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, it was good to catch up.
I'm glad breaks are happening for him.
Well, good. You're happy. Good things are happening to him.
Glad good things are happening
when you can buy multiple cars at the same time.
Man, that takes a different tax bracket to do that.
I know, right?
Yeah, good for him. Man.
Hey,
awesome.
We're happy for him. Coming up, Shehan Jayaraj is going to join us coming up in our next segment. Some news breaking in the world of the NCAA.
And I don't think that it is April Fool's. It looks legit. I don't think anybody's messing. I think this is actually real news.
So I'm going to read this verbatim, this courtesy of On3. The NCAA Division I cabinet passed emergency blind transfer legislation earlier today, reining in when athletes can transfer and enroll in a new institution. The term blind transfer refers to an athlete who unenrolls from their current school and enrolls at a new university outside of the transfer portal window. Penalties for programs in which they allow this to happen: a suspension of the respective sports head coach for 50% of the season and a fine of 20% of that team's sports budget. Now, college football, again, moved away from the 2 transfer portal window. They want that 15-day transfer portal window to be, that's it, nothing else. None of this sabotaging the rules. You know what this is going to lead to? Lawsuits. And a lot of them. And then it'll mean
lawyers are like, yeah.
Yeah. I would look, honestly, I would love for this to apply and be held up. The big one, this was last year. Wisconsin quarterback Xavier Lucas was a freshman in 2024. He withdrew from classes at Wisconsin and then played at Miami in 2025, essentially circumventing the NCAA transfer portal. And that was a big, giant middle finger to the NCAA, to Wisconsin, and everybody else. And so all of a sudden, the NCAA is going to step in and say, all right, we got to do something. Now, this only applies to a select number of players. This isn't going on a lot, but there's 15 to 20 guys that tried to pull this off. And now you're looking at a situation where the NCAA is like, nope, we're not letting this happen. And, of course, now you're going to get lawsuits from it.
See, the problem is the NCAA needed before they did all this stuff, they needed to think about this stuff and put the guardrail things in place. And there needed to be a longer process than just jumping and doing what they did and let the genie out of the bottle.
Yeah, and this is why you needed to have the NCAA needed to go find the slimiest agent out there and hire him and say, okay,
yes,
if you
think of every way,
these are rules are proposing. I need you in your sliminess expertise to come up with every way to circumvent it so that we can, when we drop these rules and we make them establish that we have all these bylaws and everything else, that we're going to sink into this so that nobody can circumvent these rules. Because now some people are going to circumvent them, and then we're going to throw the hammer down on them, and then they're going to sue us for that. So
Amen, Scotty. You are so spot on with finding your sleaziest lawyer and just, hey, where can you poke holes into these rules?
Yeah.
Help me find the ways. We're going to pay you a lot of money and find all these ways so we can figure this out and we can put everything in place.
I mean, it goes back to who I think should be your voters for the top 25. Odds makers, gamblers. These guys know these teams inside and out. They are up at 3 a.m. watching a game. Some beat writer from Tuscaloosa, is he really watching Pac-12 football at 2 a.m. in Alabama? No, he's not. Is a coach? Definitely not. But you know what? Who is watching every game? Odds makers. Odds makers, there should be a top 25 poll made completely by odds makers in Vegas, because I don't think there would be a more accurate poll than that one, because these guys know these teams inside and out. All right, Shehan Jayaraja. He'll join us next, one of our favorite dudes on the planet from CBS Sports. We'll talk about this with him, get his thoughts as to how long this will hold up before the lawyers get their teeth involved. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.